Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right into this tutorial on how do you create an outline on an image like this. This is a raster image, so if you look up really close as I zoom in, these edges are not defined. They're really jaggedy, they're shaded, and they have like a bunch of artifacts that you can see, these little gray dots over here as I zoom in. Look at this when I zoom in on the face. You see this? This is like totally just completely low resolution. So what you want to do is to create a hard line edge first, and then you can create a cut line. So basically what we want to do is create two lines to fix this issue. So first let's cut it out from the background. So I'm going to choose the layer. I'm going to grab the magic tool to cut out the background. And if we use, like, let's say 100%, what happens is this area here and certain areas that are partially white in here are going to get grabbed. So if I go ahead and click there and hit delete, you see it just grabbed way too much of the image. Let's go ahead and undo that. That's at 100%. Let's try to do the opposite and do something like 5%. We go to 5% and we hit delete. That worked okay, but now when we zoom in, look at all these jaggy edges that was left over. That's just not acceptable. That's not going to work. All right, so that being the case, let's do something in between. I have a feeling that this is going to be closer to 10%. Let's go ahead and grab it in here, and we look around really close to see what it has grabbed and what it hasn't. I'm going to go ahead and hit delete, and that looks pretty good. I like that. So now that we're able to grab the edge, it's a nice hard lined edge, then we want to be able to create the first of two outlines. The first of the two is going to be a white outline, so I'm going to right click and hit Edit Layer Style. Go to Stroke, and we want to change that from black to white. I'm going to hit OK, and you can see it's already starting there. The size, and we want to make sure that this is set to outside. So I can make the size as big or small as I want the other outline beyond it to be. So if I want the cut line to be like this big, and just picture the edge is going to be the cut line. So if you really want to exaggerate it, you could bring it all the way out to here. But in our case, let's bring it down to, I don't know, right around there. Now that looks good. Now we're going to do another outline as a cut line, but we can't do two effects on top of each other, but we can simplify this effect and merge it into the photo. Let's go ahead and come up here. You see the little FX. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say simplify. That takes the effect out of as an effect and turns it into part of the photo. Now we could take the whole thing and do it all over again. But before I do it again, if I do a new outline over that, it's going to create an outline in here too. So I'm going to get rid of that little spot by taking the eyedropper, pick around there so I get the same white, grab the paintbrush tool and make sure that I got the layer chosen. I could just paint that in. You want to do that if there's any holes on the inside that have not been taken over by that first outline that you created. So now we want to create the second outline, which is a cut line. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit Edit Layer Style. Once again, just like before, hit the stroke again, but this time make sure that this says outside. This time we want to change it to whatever color you want the cut line to be. In this particular case, the client wanted it to be red, so I'm going to make it red. And then I want to make it not too thick so it doesn't look like a real outline. It looks more like a cut line. So this is size at about 8%. That looks pretty good. I like that. So how does that look when you want to send this to the label making company? Let's go ahead and add a white background. So I created a new blank layer. I'm going to come down here, choose white, grab the paint bucket, and then just paint the background white. And there we go. We got us a nice graphic with a nice thin red cut line. And if we wanted to change that cut line, I could always go back to Edit Layer Style and change that, let's say from 8 to 15 if I wanted to be a little thicker or if I wanted to be a little thinner. It's that simple. Anyway, this is it for this tutorial. This is Rich, calling it quits, saying over and out.